can play the role of spoiler for Myria. If Myria wins, she's outright in. However, if she loses, it sets up a three-way tie between Myria, the Alan Heffley, and Demon RHK. So, we could be seeing another three-way match after this, and the racers are off. Myria is setting up. Looks like she's going to head to the first part of Escape, kind of doing a traditional standard route. Meanwhile, Hazu is also heading up here. We'll see where she goes. And Myria only getting a little bit of love from Uncle, but the blue mail already, that'll be something.
But we got nothing out of the poultry this time.
Shout out to Sabatender, who wrote a wonderful article about us. Sab, I don't know if you have that link, but he's in chat right now listening to us. He's also the leader currently in Group B. Although Myria can tie Sabatender with a win, so this will be an interesting group the way it goes.
Myria working on getting enough rupees to make sure she can pay the bottle vendor when she hits the town.
Yep, Myria's going to go ahead and do this check, and it's just 10. Myria doesn't quite have enough rupees yet even to purchase bombs, but does have one bomb, so we may see her farm down at the bombable hut. We'll see what decision she makes. Hazu, meanwhile, is working her way there as well. And Spider's giving arrows as well. It seems like everyone wants to give these guys arrows, unfortunately.
Yeah, it can really change the race if you get an early bomb, and neither runner's found one yet.
Myria does have one bomb, although not a bomb upgrade or a group of 3 bombs.
Yeah, no bomb drops.
And Myria will have enough money for her bomb purchase there in Kakariko as she makes her way down there. Hazu's following right behind. While we're running through this first part, let's give a shout out both to our restreamer Alvi, who is there, and also our tracker, Drake Tempest, doing good work for us here. Drake's about to be very, very busy, I think.
Here's the part of the game where I'm always hoping for that early bottle so I don't have to come back to the sick kid.
Absolutely. Early bottles are always nice to go ahead and get this out of the way. Although early hammer and early magic powder are also nice too to go ahead and knock the bat cave out as well. So Myria with her purchase. Hazu's taking kind of a roundabout way to get to Kakariko Village. Still going to get there.
And luckily enough, didn't have many items for that thief to steal from her.
And she's going to go right down to purchase bombs. I hope so. And your wish came true, Scooty. We have that first bottle for Myria.
Let's see if we can find anything in Blind Set here.
I'm a little surprised. We've been almost all the way through Kakariko Village and not found any significant items of consequence so far. Just blue mail, which is nice, and a bunch of arrow upgrades.
Yeah, these runners are starting to run out of places they can check, given the lack of equipment.
We have
I
a first
assume
map
they'll
check.
probably run down to check the dam, and then almost out of options. Have to head towards Eastern, I suppose.
We might have to have that. I don't know how comfortable either of these runners are going to be with that mini Moldorm cave without a weapon, except bombs. That'll be interesting. Myria going to go ahead and check Sick Kid before starting that southern route.
Myria heading towards the library. We'll see if this will be a item they'll have to come back for.
All of the arrow upgrades are in Kakariko Village, apparently. That's unusual in this seed. Usually we have at least one item of importance, and even just red roops from the race game. This is a pretty bare seed so far.
I don't believe I've ever seen one drier than this.
Well, the nice thing about this is once they do find an item, it's going to shine a bright red line on exactly where they're supposed to go. Whether it's going to be the power glove that will point them towards escape, whether it's going to be their sword, or for example, the cape, which could point them towards an Aghanim seed. Whatever item they get is going to point them in the direction that they need to go. And there we have the hammer for Myria. That's a nice item to get early.
Yeah, at least they have a weapon.
That'll make Mini Moldorm a little bit more tolerable for Myria. Meanwhile, Hazu is still working her way through the Kakariko village, as dull and empty as that ended up being. Myria looks like she is going to make that Mini Moldorm cave play, which, now that she has a weapon, will be a little bit easier to get to.
Still not the easiest thing coming from the bottom of the enemies with the hammer. That hitbox is pretty small.
It is. It's just a little difficult, but she has a bee. I would go ahead and use that bee while you can.
I'd release it. Honestly, I've never done it, but I think it should help here.
I believe, if I've seen things correctly, the bee will end up taking out 2 of these mini Moldorms, so that'll just make it a little bit easier for you. Oh, nice heart drop for Myria. Very lucky there.
I'm sure there's going to be something worth that trouble.
Zora money so far is the best. Single green roop. Oh man.
Yikes.
Yeah, this has not turned out to be a very good seed. So what we have left here, because while the hammer is nice and it's a weapon, it doesn't really unlock much of anything for you. So we have Ice Rod Cave, we have Agina's Cave, we have Sahasrala's loot chest, and then Eastern, and that's about it.
I can't come up with anything else. That's not very many chests left.
It'll be interesting to see where Hazu does some sort of route divergence. Right now, Hazu appears to be following kind of the path that Myria took, but a little bit slower. And there's another bee
Just
bottle.
another bee.
So if Hazu can go a different direction and maybe get one of those items that are going to end up being required, that would put her in a little bit more advantageous of a spot than Myria. Oh, Carissa does point out, yep, they have not done escape yet. So the Zelda portion of it. And with the hammer, that does make it a little bit easier. Myria is going to go towards Sahasrara. Meanwhile, Hazu making her way over to the mini Moldorm cave. Certainly a logical play.
Hope we can see some bee strats this time.
VTorp approves.
And still nothing. I expect Myria to go into Eastern. I mean, she can get most of the items in there.
Yep. There's the map check as well. So the red pendant is going to be over in Desert. And we did see from Sahasrara, the green pendant is going to be Pod. So maybe a little bit more value will be coming here while you still can. Carissa asks, I think pulling the trees and those crab things that drop rupee refills are random. Not exactly. Those are known as what's called prize packs. So they're going to be the same for both of these runners no matter what, depending on how many enemies you kill and if you've taken damage or not. So that ends up being part of the randomizer logic. It's not completely randomized so that we're going to see something different from Myria and Hazu. Well, yes, they are seed-based, but it depends on how many enemies you kill and if you've taken damage or not, is part of the prize package logic there.
Myria came up dry on that first chest in Eastern, just getting a bomb upgrade. We'll see if the second chest holds anything useful.
Yep, keep in mind there are a total of 3 items in Eastern. So, and you have access to several chests, but will not have access to the item that the boss holds. So, I mean, and that's based on a couple different things. One, you don't have the lamp, and 2, you don't have the bow to be able to get past that. Now, if Myria knows Dark Room, she'll be able to navigate at least the first Dark Room without a lamp, so that would give her 1 more chest. If not, we could see her dip out early.
And she did pull the big key, so she can open the big chest. So we've got all of the dungeon items now, so we know that we are going to have to find the bow to get the last item here.
Yeah, dark rooms are not easy when you only have the hammer. Sometimes with the sword, you can hold it out and use the sparkles to kind of navigate your way, but just the hammer can be a little bit troubling. Yeah, there's just nothing of value anywhere. We'll see. According to the logic, Myria should not be able to access this, because the logic does state that you need the lamp before you can navigate any dark rooms. So anything that she gets in this next treasure chest will indicate that it should be locked somewhere behind the lamp, which can play to your advantage if you're able to do it right.
I don't think that piece of art's going to really play into this game. So where's
Not
Myria going to go
really.
next? Probably escape, because it might be about all there's left.
Yeah, I have to think escape at this point in time. Um, there's that or Agina's Cave, and if Agina's Cave has it, man, they might be kicking themselves because it's just a other turn at some point. Tetrally asks, do you know why there's such formal logic behind the randomizer instead of things just being random? The reason for that, Tetrally, is to prevent any sort of soft locking from happening. It also indicates that, you want to be able to complete the game on every seed that you do. So you never want to lock things behind. For example, a big key in order to get a boss is held on the boss. Well, that would make that particular dungeon literally impossible to do. They also, the way the logic indicates, that everyone should be able to beat the game without using any sort of the minor glitches that are approved. Things like fake flippers, darkroom navigation, things like that. So they want everyone to be able to do it and want to make this game as accessible as possible to everyone.
And speaking of fake flippers, I don't think we're going to see that today, as Myria just found the flippers down in Escape's basement. So we will likely see a check on Zora, as she has the 500 rupees necessary.
Yep, I'm going to go ahead and clear out, but that's definitely a solid play. It's really the only play that she has after this as well. So Myria with one more chest, while Hazukitty continues to navigate here. So nothing else in Escape for Myria seems to indicate that we're going to find something of pretty high value over here at Zora once we get there.
Looks like Myria's going to head up to the hobo first, and then probably make their way to the waterfall ferry that has a couple chests. So we're going to see 4 items pretty quickly here from Myria.
Alvi, our restreamer, talking in chat. He's going to laugh so hard if Agina actually has the next progressive item and Zora has Diddly Squat. That would be cruel and hilarious at the same time, Alvi. But if there's one thing I've learned about this community in doing commentary and being a part of it for the past few months, is that we are very creative in finding logic and seeds and scenarios that we absolutely don't want to see when we race ourselves.
For instance, as soon as we saw a pod was a pendant, I was relieved that the bow is not going to be on the pedestal.
Oh, and Myria ditching the bee in order to get a random refill on the bottle. This doesn't you don't see a whole lot of racers doing this too frequently, but it is something that they can do. Saving money and throwing an empty bottle into a well, hoping that they refill it with something.
Turning a couple bees into a couple fairies seems like pretty good for Myria. So Myria picked up the glove there in the waterfall fairy. So we'll see where she goes from there. There's the powder on the Zora ledge.
Yep, that glove is going to be an important thing. It allows us access to the back end of escape. Will likely grant access to Death Mountain, although again the logic doesn't dictate that because we still haven't found the lamp.
And it gives us 2 of our 3 pieces needed for Dark World access. Now we just need that Moon Pearl.
Oh, here's an interesting thought. We have Hammer. We're getting powder. Magic Bat might have something important for us. And Myria using those gloves, putting him to work immediately, going to head down here to do the back half of escape. And a whole lot of bupkis.
Are we down to just the Magic Bat and Aghanims, or the Desert Cave? Is that all that's left here?
I think logically that's all that's left at this point in time, and it looks like Myria is going to go ahead and make a play here. See if she keeps on heading south towards Agina. Yep. And if Agina does indeed hold the next item, I'm going to call Alvi a horrible, horrible human being for wishing this upon Myria. Restreamer's Curse? I've heard of Commentator's Curse, not Restreamer's Curse. Yep, I'm personally going to think it's something at Magic Bat, just because we've gotten the 2 items, the hammer and the powder. I think the logic is pointing there, but Agina could have something. We'll see.
There are certainly plenty of items needed at this point to make it too much further into this game.
Yep, we don't have access to Death Mountain technically. We don't have access to Dark World yet, even. So, Titan's Mitt. Okay, there's not a whole lot. Yeah, still nothing. So, still an important item. Still going to be a required item. So, good thing that Myria went there. But
there's just not many things that this possibly could have at the bat. We could see a book. We could see a flute to get us up to Death Mountain. And that Moon Pearl for sure.
Could see Moon Pearl. We could see Lamp.
Does Lamp get us to much?
Lamp can get us to Death Mountain, and it can also get us the one treasure chest that's back in the dark room in Escape. Or any of the other fetch quest items in terms of mushroom and shovel, as Alvi points out. This game can be trolly. And drum roll. What does the Magic Bat have for Myria?
There we go. Now we'll see if Myria goes to Dark Kakariko, heads to maybe Thieves Town. Where else? Hype Cave has opened up. There's a lot of locations now.
Yep, that opens up quite a bit. Curious that she went ahead and saved and quit when she was in Kakariko, right there. Hazukitty on her way over to learn a horrible life lesson here.
On the bright side, she's got the Titan's Mitts, so she can do this the quick way.
Yep, Titan's Mitt and Hammer. If it were up to me, I'd go to Thieves, just being able to clear all that out. But we see map
Pendant Thieves, so maybe not. Skull Woods front half is available.
Okay, so let's review real quick because this is something that happens every seed. We want to know what can and cannot be on the pedestal.
So our pendant dungeons were what? Desert and Pod and Thieves Town. So Thieves Town doesn't lock much for the pedestal. They already have the hammer. That could be a deterrent. I've already mentioned bow, and we haven't been into desert, so potentially boots can't be on the pedestal. We don't know if desert is boot locked or not at this point.
For desert, desert kind of has the most interesting logic of the three. I mean, Thieves is pretty straightforward. You don't really need anything. Pod, the only thing that we have yet to find that is there is the bow. Desert could require the boots, yes. It could also require either the combination of mirror and flute in order to access it from the Dark World side of Myria, or the book.
And also a fire source, correct?
And a fire source, so either the lamp or the fire rod. So there's a lot of different logic things that are associated with desert that could seemingly lock it out, but as soon as we get something, it could point us in that direction.
Myria is working on setting up the first bomb jump of this match. Let's see if she can pull this one off. Second try, good work.
Hazu is going right away, going to be able to get Moon Pearl. Now, she hasn't gone down to Agina yet, so does not have the Titan's Mitts. Can still have Dark World access, though. She goes a long way around.
And another save and quit. She's going over to Hype Cave, I'm guessing.
Really kind of a solid play.
I know Hype Cave has been a little bit less hype in this version, but today seems like it could easily have something important.
Oh, absolutely. Myria, meanwhile, taking a death using one of her fairies there. So, chat, tell me, is it going to be a Hype Cave or a Dead Cave? Let us know. Get your bets in.
Silver arrows.
Okay. So it was really more of a cave of love there with 2 full heart containers and then a blue rupee, but most importantly, silvers. I doubt Myria will skip Hype Cave at any point in time, but those silvers are going to be important.
Myria is on her way up to check the Bumper Cave to see if we are going to need an Aghanim fight. Just a heart container is probably never going to get picked up.
What was that Myria just picked
I
up?
believe that was red mail.
Yep, okay.
Kitty's going to give us our first pyramid check.
This could also be something important. It's kind of an out-of-the-way location, but again, these out-of-the-way locations are what runners like Hazu kind of needs to do in order to make up a little bit of time.
Myria finds another heart container in the chest game, which is always guaranteed to give an item in the first 2 pulls. And opening up Thieves Town, we'll see if she goes in. Yes, she does, without a sword. Let's hope this goes well.
Big key right away. I mean, you don't necessarily need a sword to get through here, but it would certainly be nice. I think Hazu's looking for a way over to the other side, and there really isn't one.
And meanwhile, Myria picks up the flute in Thieves Town.
So that's one of our items that could be required for desert access. Required pendant nip for a crystal sounds about right for version 26. Yup. Version 26 has just been all sorts of interesting. It's probably been one of my favorite versions so far, simply because it could go any way at all. Tetrally asks, if you die in the dark world before getting the mirror, are you stuck there? No. It actually lets you restart back in the light world. Hazu making her way over to Catfish, checking these out-of-the-way locations, seeing if there's going to be anything there. Meanwhile, Myria's working her way through Thieves Town. And the
Catfish hookshot.
That's going to be big. Catfish is not one of those places that people check regularly unless you can route that in with Zora. And since Myria's already gone up there, ooh, that might be big for Hazu.
There has been plenty of races where Catfish was never checked. This could be a giant step for Hazukitty here.
Well, that crosses off Hookshot on my list of items that could possibly be in the pedestal. Hazu, now on her way down, is going to check out Agina's cave. So that will be beneficial because she'll get her Titansmith. We'll be able to access the Village of Outcasts from the other side.
Just a compass in the Thieves Town big chest.
So, Scooty, if you were Myria, where would you go after this? I know Hazu has the hook shot, but she'll still probably clean up some of these other locations. Where would you go if you were Myria?
I would probably head up to Death Mountain after activating that flute. But Hype Cave probably also needs to be checked. And without the hook shot, maybe Hype Cave is the better choice for routing.
Yeah, I'll probably end up checking Hype Cave if I were her. Looking at the items, don't know how comfortable she would be doing Swordless Ice Palace, but that's technically unlocked. Oh, no, it's not. I take it back. Forgot you actually need a sword to use Bombos. So,
Oh, yeah. It looks like she's gonna route here south, probably go to Digging Game, maybe to the Flute Kid, and then on over to Hype Cave.
sounds like it. What I would end up doing in this, start with Digging Game, but then go pick up Jeremiah, the bullfrog, and then kind of do a world tour. End up checking Hype Cave and checking Stumpy, and then saving and quitting, because then you could go right from the Sanctuary and bring Jeremiah back to his home, and also check the flute and unlock that.
And it is important to do the Dig Game first, because he doesn't like it when you have a follower.
No friends allowed. It's like he's just that mean. Meanwhile, Hazu is opting to try for a dark room, trying to climb Death Mountain here. Probably looking for that first sword still.
Every time I look up, somebody's getting a heart piece. There's lots of those to go around, and not enough swords in this seed so far.
It is a very healthy seed so far. I don't think our runners are going to necessarily be complaining. Healthy seed, red mail, no sword.
Myria about to get a little healthier and pick up those silvers here in Hype Cave.
Meanwhile, Hazu navigating that dark room like a pro. Did not check to see what I think.
Did not see what that was.
Looks like Myria might be taking Jeremiah up on the world tour up to Catfish, check Pyramid as well. This might be big for Myria.
There is the bow in Spectacle Rock Cave.
Oh, so that navigation. Oh, wait, no, wrong one, wrong.
So while Myria is checking a lot more locations, Kitty's actually been the one to find potentially the two most important items with the hookshot and the bow.
Yep. This looks to be a place that Kitty hasn't actually been to for a while. Went into the wrong cave in order to get the Spectacle Rock item, but Myria is going to be picking up her hookshot here before too long. She's taken Jeremiah on the round the world tour here. But it's going to be a while, I think, before Myria heads that direction, just because it required that darkroom navigation. So kudos to Hazukitty for taking the risk and doing that. That's definitely going to play.
Myria did pick up the flute in Thieves Town, so she can get up to Death Mountain without that dark room.
Oh, this is true. Yes, Lyra. I call him Jeremiah, and it's just second nature at this point, but I'm a nerd. It's okay. We're all nerds here.
Hazukitty had me nervous there with the save and quit, because there's still plenty of chests she can check, but she was just going back to the old man, got a little health refill, and on her way over to the east side.
Yep. Gonna get an east side Death Mountain check in Paradox Cave. And it's there's 8 treasure chests that are over here to be gotten. Meanwhile, Myria is going to go ahead and get her swag duck. Everyone rise for the swag duck national anthem, if that's your thing.
There's a sword as the first pickup on the east side of Death Mountain here.
Yep, first sword. Myria will probably be following before too long in that direction. At 42 minutes, kind of a long time before we get a sword.
Let's see what these 5 chests have for us.
Quake so far. More money. Yep, Quake.
We haven't seen either Turtle Rock or Myria yet, but Quake could very well be needed for this seed.
Yep, we have, between the 2 runners, 2 out of the 3 medallions. So, and Myria navigating the dark rooms instead of using the flute on her way up. Or she did use the flute, and it's just getting the old man.
Kitty's got a little decision here. Check out the floating island. Looks like Ice Rod up there.
Ooh.
She's going to head to Spiral Cave before checking anything in the Dark World or Temple of Hera.
Myria is going to find her bow here directly as well. Shovel, fetch quest. Hazu's now going to check the Dark World area. Be an interesting check here. She's following her logic fairly well, other than that lampless run. We know that both runners would be able to get up here with the flute, either way.
If you're ever confused on which one of those caves to enter, I learned just last week that to remember that in the light world you go right, and in the dark world you go left. So just remember light is right, and you'll get the right cave there.
That is an interesting way to go about it. And Hazu making her way through, not quite as familiar with some of the hookshot strats that I think some of our more experienced runners are. So going through. Meanwhile, Myria not going to check a lot going on there. She gets her bow. She dips out. So nothing there for Hazukitty and Super Bunny Cave, but she does have Hookshot Cave up here to check as well. To confuse everyone at the same time, I call it Super Bunny Cave just because Super Bunny is a minor glitch that is allowed that a lot of runners end up using to get that, or used to at any rate, and the name just kind of stuck.
So we had Bombos for Turtle Rock, so Myria will have access whenever she gets up there.
Bombos, I believe, was in Thieves Town as well, so...
Bombos was Skull Woods, I believe.
Skull Woods, okay. And there's the boots! Hazu with the save and quit, and Hazu's in kind of a really solid spot right now. Doesn't have any dungeons completed, but does have the hook shot, does have the bow. What she has over Myria right now are the boots, a sword, which is going to be absolutely vital, and then the Quake medallion, as well as whatever is hidden behind the shovel, and we don't know if what's going to be there or not.
Myria got right through that dark room without too much trouble.
Silvers make it a little bit easy to get through a lot of those dark rooms in Eastern. So things we're still looking for. We saw Ice Rod up on the floating island, which, again, Myria did not check. And there's
the Cane of Samaria.
Wow. Hazu is just finding all the right items in all the right locations. Myria is kind of chasing her around at this point.
And there's Myria's first sword. Myria electing to go into Pod, even though there's a few other places that are available, right? Like Hera and Swamp available?
Hera's available. Swamp's not available without the mirror.
No mirror yet, yes.
But she does have the bow. The interesting thing is that in Pod, the logic in Pod is a little bit weird in that only 3 treasure chests in it, the first 3 treasure chests in it, can have the bow or anything that would unlock the bow. Now, we have it early, so that may have a little bit more value here. In other races, though, and what we point out to people is that if you're searching for the bow, Pod ends up devaluing itself quite a bit just because of how few places anything that's bow or anything that is locked behind the bow could have.
So Myria is going to dive into Pod here, looking for these 5 items, plus 1 from the green pendant if she does complete this dungeon.
Yep, it is possible, although Darkroom navigation in Pod is a little bit trickier than it is in Eastern. So we'll see. Hazu, meanwhile, making the dive finally into Thieves Town, going to find all the value there. And by all the value, I mean like one thing.
Master Sword?
Yeah. No, not even a sword.
Flute. I found it interesting how differently the routes have been for these 2 runners. The seed opened up so bare, there was nothing there. I thought it would be going to be quite linear. But as soon as we got that, what was it, the Moon Pearl that split the runners?
Yep, Moon Pearl ended up splitting the runners, and they opted to check different locations. Hazu opted to start by checking Hype Cave and going down south. Meanwhile, Myria went immediately to the dungeons and checked a lot of the dungeon routes. Hazu's been picking up a lot of value pretty much wherever she's been. Myria, following the dungeons, hasn't found as many items, but she's been getting dungeon kills in the process. Jesus the Frog. I thought I heard there was confirmed that there's some sort of dungeon bias in V26. I believe you're right. I also remember hearing something about that, and please do not quote me on this. But I believe it was relatively minor, like really, really small compared to everything else. So it's still definitely worth checking everything. And I hope Hazu remembers she picked up silvers and can switch to those silvers here soon.
With that bomb throw, Myria's making me think she's gonna try this dark room. I know I wouldn't be diving in it, but there's a reason I'm not in the tournament.
I'm right there with you. I try to avoid dark rooms if I can possibly do it, simply because I prefer to follow the logic. But you never know. Now, keep in mind, it is not, according to the tournament rules, it is not illegal for runners to have a map of the dark rooms pulled up so they can help them navigate. Those sorts of aids are not against the rules, per the tournament rules. Now, they can't have a macro that automatically does it for them or anything like that. Not that that would help you much here anyway. But if they have a second monitor, we do know that some runners prefer to have those dark room maps pulled up and ready to go.
As Hazukitty makes her way up into fight blind, I'll be interested to see if she uses a B strat here.
It'll be interesting. We'll see. We know that Hazu is not one of the more practiced runners, so we'll be interested to see what kind of strat she ends up using for blind.
And if she doesn't choose to use the B, it's really not that big a deal, since blind does not matter which sword you use, it's 9 hits either way.
Myria looks like she's finally on her way up to check that East Death Mountain. She backed out of Pod, huh? Even though it was a green pendant. And Hazukitty takes down the wonderful blind. Myria gets her Master Sword as well, so that's one more thing there.
Yeah, I believe if you unleash a B on blind, it can chase one of the heads straight off the screen.
Yep, I've seen that done before, and it's absolutely hilarious to watch.
Myria is going to be our first runner to dip into Hera, I think. Check Inspect Korok first.
Hera's an interesting one. You only have 2 items and still no fire source. There's our 3rd sword. So if the big key isn't here, Myria is going to have to back out. Oh, there's the big key. Got lucky for her. So Hazu's now taking... Hazu's already done a lot of those overworld routes, so won't have to do the world tour that Myria did earlier. But Hazu will take this southern route because she can check the digging game on the way. Not digging game, the shovel spot.
I don't believe Myria checked the peg cave when she was in the area. We'll see if Hazukitty does that. There's our cape.
Hey! So Myria is cleaning out Tower of Hera, but only found the dungeon items. So of the 2 items that are in the Tower of Hera, one is going to be on Moldorm, the other one's going to be in that basement that she won't have access to because she doesn't have a fire source.
And with a slash
first
and a
item is
spin,
sword.
Troll Dorm goes down quickly for the map. Gonna have to come back if she wants to find that last item.
Yep, and thank you, Wolfman, for correcting me. First item was the Tempered Sword, but point stands, last item still is in the basement. Hazu now unleashing her flute. Yeah, my apologies, chat. I created some confusion. My fault, sorry. So we are just at about an hour in this match and haven't found two crystals done by Myria, nothing yet by Hazu. But we have our first Meyer check.
And Meyer is Bombos, which we found in Skullwood. Somebody in chat was asking. I'm wondering if we will see somebody run to Ice Palace next. That is a crystal that we have not seen and have access to.
Well, that's one that Myria has access to. Hazu, because it was in Skullwoods, has not yet found Bombos, so Hazu doesn't actually have access at this point. It's amazing that we are still lampless, though, after an hour in. I would think that by now we'd have found the lamp.
Myria is about to find the boots here in Hookshot Cave.
And that will lead to, if she checks Bonk Rocks, we'll have the Cane of Samaria. So Myria making up a lot of the item lead that Hazu had.
Myria going right over to King's Tomb, and likely will check Bonk Rocks next.
Hazu, meanwhile, we've already seen her navigate one dark room. Looks like she's going to be heading out for another dark room to get through Eastern. Come on, Hazu, switch to your silvers.
Please, before you get to the boss, at least.
Pretty please, with sugar on top.
Now, if I were Myria, I would be stocking up on potions before going to Ice Palace. So we'll see if that is the next play.
Very well could be. And nope.
Shovel check first, perhaps?
That makes sense. And Hazu, unfortunately, taking a death there. Now this is interesting. With Myria picking up the cane, she can also do Mire at this point in time as well.
With that dark room in the basement getting perhaps in the way. That one's a difficult one, right?
Okay, yeah. This lamp is the one item that seems to be trolling these runners.
Yeah, just a quick check into that little cave.
Looks like Myria is going to be making that Ice Palace play.
And Kitty is heading to Skull Woods.
Yep, and we know the important thing in Skullwoods is that it has that Bombos, which will be required to open up both Misery Mire and Turtle Rock. And welcome everyone who's just joining us. I think we just had a race ending over on Speed Gaming. Thank you everyone for coming over here and continuing your randomizer evening with us. To give you guys kind of filling in what you've missed, we have Hazukitty versus Myria. Hazu is technically eliminated, but can play the spoiler. Myria, if she loses, would end up having a three-way race between herself, the Alan Heffley, and Demon RHK. If she wins, she'll end up tied with Sabatender in Group B. And while Myria ends up navigating through Ice Palace, Hazu takes a dive from the Wallmaster and takes a couple hits. Looks like she might be taking a death.
Myria setting up this bomb jump, Ice Palace. Oh, first try. Well, very well done.
When you first start doing randomizer or doing speedruns in general, that's the first bomb jump that really most people end up practicing, because it cuts this dungeon in half.
It is the only one I can currently do routinely.
Do you use the shadow or the sword pixels to help guide you?
I don't use either. I just line up horizontally by feel, I suppose, and then I use the top of the head for the vertical alignment.
Oh, okay. I point out that I'd learned sword strats to line things up. The problem with doing that is that if you only have fighter sword, it changes what the pixel counts are, and it throws you off entirely. Hazu, after that death, looks like she's going to try heading up there to Tower of Hera. Has all the items to get up there and to complete it. Except for that fire source, so we don't know what's going to be in that last basement object. Insomnia Cure, yep, that bat icon means they checked Batcave, and it was a key item.
The Batcave held our moon pearl for this seed.
Hazu, once she gets over here, will be able to find her Master Sword. The difference between Myria and Hazu in terms of the swords is that Myria was able to get through the dark rooms in Eastern, and the knights did have a sword on them. Yep, hammer was an incredibly early item, as well as the powder being on Zora's ledge. So
Hammer was inside the dam, was one of the first locations checked.
yep, flippers were in Escape. Now, there's still one chest left in Escape that these runners have not yet checked. And that's going to be an issue because neither of them have the lamp, and we've seen them appear to try to navigate some dark rooms with some mixed successes up to this point in time, but probably wouldn't do it lampless if they, at least the escape part, if they could avoid it.
Myria making quick work of Ice Palace. We'll see if this Tempered Sword goes right through Cold Stare here.
Myria is making incredibly fast work
very
of that
nice
Cold
fight.
Stare. Still no lamp. We're at an hour 13 in here, and there's a lot of things that are darkroom locked, and we still have not yet found the lamp. This is just unbelievable.
Looks like Myria is going to dip into Misery Mire here, hoping to find one of the lamp and one of the two possible items.
At this point, something's got to be. Everything else is locked behind those dark rooms. We don't even have access to Desert Palace yet because we don't have the mirror or the book or a fire source. Let's see, Misery Mire, Turtle Rock we can get into, but can't get very far into depending on key placement there.
Yeah, there's not too many options left. We did just pick up the cape with both of our runners, so Spike Cave can be checked. And I don't believe either one of them checked Peg Cave yet.
Nope, neither of them have checked Peg Cave, and it looks like Hazu will be dipping into Turtle Rock. What? Again, depending on key placement, this could be a very, very gutsy play by Hazu. We'll see if it ends up playing to her advantage here.
Yeah, based on these keys, Hazu may only be able to get to one chest here, right? Maybe... Can you always get to the second chest? Yeah, you can get to the chain chomp room, right? So 2 chests?
Yep. Oh, but we do have at least one key, so that's reasonably good, but there's still at least 2 rooms that are locked behind having the fire rod, or 2 chests that are locked behind having the fire rod. So we'll see what happens here.
And there's our fire rod in Meyer.
That unlocks so much for Myria in terms of being a fire source in order to get the item in the basement of Hera. That unlocks being able to finish Skullwoods. That's just one of the key items we were waiting on.
Full clearing Turtle Rock with the exception of picking up that ice rod on the way if we can find that mirror.
Oh, Hazu, don't die, Hazu!
Cape strats! That's the way to get through this, and with the half magic to fill up.
And that's going to do it. Nothing else can really be found here for Hazu. Half magic, not necessarily worth it because she doesn't have anything that uses a ton of magic, but not bad.
Myria's making the way to that dark room. We'll see how this goes.
This is going to be a little bit difficult, even for Myria. I've seen even the professionals struggle with this particular dark room. We'll see how Myria can handle it. Meanwhile, Hazu's heading herself over here to do Ice Palace. We didn't find a ton, but we do know it's a required dungeon, so... She's trying to find exactly where that location is.
Well, so far so good.
Yep, she's doing real well here. Interesting that she's using, it appears to be between using her sword and the fireball guys that shoot out while your sword is out. Using that to help guide her through. Very interesting strat. I approve, Myria.
Yeah, that was incredibly well done. And with the silvers, Vitreous should be no problem here. And this is a giant step for Myria in this race.
Absolutely. And with silvers, this Vitreous fight is not going to be terribly difficult at all. But it looks like she's using cape strats. And down goes Vitreous. And yeah, chat pointing out, Myria only found the fire rod. She did not go back, or was hoping she wouldn't have to go back for the big chest, I believe. So hoping that the last items were already found. So she'll be diving back in, hoping to get her second item.
And there's our mirror. Good thing she went back in to get it.
Well, my dream is dead of a mirror seed, but that does give us access to Desert now, which was one of the 3 pendant dungeons. So let's see, what could... I think we're done. I think pedestal hype is officially dead.
Yeah, I think this is... Is this go mode for Myria, knowing where that ice rod is? Because we know the ice rod is up on the floating island.
I believe so. Cause Swamp Palace, Skull Woods, and Turtle Rock. Yep, that's go mode for Myria. Wow. Oh, but still does need the lamp according to logic. But yeah. Isn't that weird? We have go mode before the logic actually dictates that we're in go mode.
It's interesting to see how well Myria's done with these dark rooms. I don't think she'll have too much trouble with that Turtle Rock dark room. So we may see a lampless seat here for Myria.
Absolutely. That'll be interesting. So she already has, okay, she knows where everything is. She'll probably go mode swamp and just completely skip a lot of these treasure chests. She has tempered, she has silver, she has red mail. No real reason to do anything other than the bare minimum of what's required at this point. As we see Myria working her way through, Hazu is on her way for a disappointing Ice Palace run, but it is required, so...
Let's see if she uses that potion. Yeah, here we go. Chat's trying to figure out where the lamp could possibly be. I believe Checkerboard Cave is still alive. And Purple Chest, I don't believe, has been checked.
Yeah, Checkerboard, Purple Chest.
A couple other mirror-locked caves, the Haunted Grove just south of that, and the Graveyard Cave.
Yep, because getting both the mirror and the fire rod did not actually require the use of the lamp once we got into Mire. All the items that were in Mire can have the lamp lock behind it, which according to the logic would require a double dip into Mire to complete it. But luckily for Myria, she already was able to navigate the dark room, so didn't have to worry about that. So Myria is starting her Argus fight right now. With that Tempered Sword, again, it makes real quick work of everything here.
Just a couple spins and the fight is over. That was a good fight by Myria. And a quick swamp.
So only Skullwoods and Turtle Rock left for Myria. Imagine she's going to get Skullwoods knocked out of the way first. Willard J. Bradley Esquire is in chat, ladies and gentlemen. He has announced his intent to curse this run. Too late, Willard. We're in go mode. It doesn't matter. You cannot curse it any further. Ha ha ha! Meantime, Hazu's working her way, going to get her Cold Stare fight starting. Meanwhile, Myria is on her way to get her 6th crystal while in go mode.
Hazukitty with the Master Sword Cold Stare fight here. We'll see how this goes.
Going to be a little bit tricky. Not as easy as Myria did. And does Bombos actually work on Cold Stare normally?
I don't believe so.
Myria working through. Gonna have Tempered Sword for Mothula. Will be relatively easy, I think.
With 2 blue potions, I don't think there's much to worry about. That's for sure.
2 blue potions and a safety fairy. I think she's in good shape at this point in time. Hazu doing work on this Cold Stare fight, being as careful as she possibly can. Red Mail certainly helps with the damage. So both runners finishing up dungeons right about the same time at an hour 30. Myria going to be on her way up to Turtle Rock. Hazukitty just getting her second crystal at this point in time. I think Hazu is still looking for that lamp, unfortunately.
Yeah, Hazu has nearly full cleared Eastern and Skullwood's front half.
At this point, Lamp has got to be in one of those few locations because she's also cleared out Pod. My goodness. Where could that lamp be? Myria, of course, going to go over here, open up Turtle Rock first, then jump over and get this ice rod before diving any further. Oh, the lag. So many monsters on Hazu's side. That was some pretty vicious lag that was going through there. It has been so long since I can recall ever seeing something of significant value being there here on this floating island.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen something, that's for sure.
Hazu looks like she's on her way over, going to check, actually, the Spike Cave.
Spike Cave, which could definitely have the lamp.
And with Cape and Half Magic, it's certainly, I mean, she'll have no problems getting through here.
Just a piece of heart. So I think at this point, she has to go to Myria to get that mirror to find that lamp. That might be all she has left.
It certainly feels like it, doesn't it? Not a whole lot of other options that she has, unfortunately. Unless she's thinking Pod, because she has not gone to Pod yet. And it does appear as though she's heading that direction. Myria on her way through here, though. Turtle Rock. Myria moving through that chain chomp room about as well as I've ever seen anyone move through it. That is just a dangerous room. Doesn't matter what kind of armor you have.
So we've seen Hazukitty try a couple dark rooms. We'll see if she tries the one here in Pod. But we know that she won't find the lamp, no matter what she tries here.
Which is unfortunate, but it's eliminating locations that she can possibly check. So her routing's been good. Her performance has definitely been better in some of the other runs we've seen Hazu go before, and I think at this point in time, chat is cheering her on for one of her personal bests. Interesting that Myria is going out here to check this. I don't know if she's even gonna. Yeah, she's not checking, but didn't skip this room.
Didn't take up too much time to, I guess, potentially find the fourth bottle or maybe butter sword.
I can definitely see butter sword, although it doesn't really help that much once you get to this point. The difference between tempered sword and butter sword on a lot of the bosses is negligible. It would help in Trinex maybe, but other than that, not a ton. Chad is pointing out that the lamp could also very easily be in swamp. We saw Myria go mode swamp, so it was done very, very quickly, and many of the chests were skipped.
Myria getting through that room without too much trouble. Just needs to find a key here on the laser bridge and can finish up the rest of this dungeon.
Myria is going to use some safety strats here to bomb out to get this last entrance as kind of a save spot for the dungeon. Myria getting her one key that's required. Still going to check a few of these other chests. Interesting. And there's a death. And while these two are finishing up their respective dungeons, let's give a shout out. If you like what you see from these runners, both Myria and Hazukitty, go ahead and give them a follow here on Twitch. Everyone loves follows. Everyone loves a little bit of attention. While you're at it, if you like the work that we're doing here, go ahead and give us a follow here at Randomizer Media 2, as well as our tracker, Drake Tempest. I want to make sure I pronounce that right. And our restreamer, Alvi, and of course my wonderful co-host here, Scooty Puff Jr. Thank you for joining me, Scooty.
Well, thank you for having me.
I think you actually signed up for this race before I did, so I think I'm the one actually joining you.
Well, I'm certainly glad you did, because I'd probably be in over my head by myself here.
Hazu, meanwhile, trying to work her way through these dark rooms. It's a little bit of a challenge. She's using this boot dash kind of puffs to try to figure out exactly where she's at. And Myria just with an absolutely beautiful Trinex kill there. So, ladies and gentlemen, in the Randomizer Mania channels, I would like to direct your attention to a wonderful game that we like to play here once we are on our way to Ganon's Tower. There are 22 treasure chests in Ganon's Tower that could contain the big key, ultimately unlocking our way to Aghanim and creating the final step in Go mode. Please list what you believe will contain the big key chest. Mr. Scooty Puff Jr., which treasure chest do you believe we'll be looking at here today?
I like to just go vanilla here, so let's see if we'll find it in the room past the ice armos. How about yourself?
In a seed like this, I'm going... It hasn't been terribly trolly, hasn't been great. I'm going to go with the fire bar room, which is traditionally 8 if you follow the standard routing, but we'll see. Meanwhile, Hazu is finally heading over to Misery Mire. We know all the money is going to be here. Myria going ahead, going full right side to start off with. This is an interesting play from Myria.
Looks like Hazukitty decided on trying something else instead of Mire. We'll see where it is. Oh, filling up on bottles first, maybe?
You know what? I can't blame her for that one bit. You want some extra magic. You want to be able to make sure you have life, and you have plenty of rupees at this point. Might as well do it.
Myria needs to pull out that cane and see what happens.
I'll be honest, until I started running Randomizer and watching people play it, I did not realize that the cane could be used for that. I also use bombs. So, Myria, watch your fellow runners. You might learn something. Although you're doing perfectly well yourself, so don't want to say that you're not. So nothing in right side for Myria. We'll have to go to that left side. And Bob will live because we have only 50 rupees on the lamp. Here's an interesting program note. The coding glitches out Bob, which is an anti-fairy that's on the top floor here. Glitches him out if you do not collect what is on the lamp. So you'll always see the glitched out anti-fairy if we do not collect the item that is on the torch there.
Here's our fire bar room check to see if you were correct. And it's that 4th potion.
4th bottle. Wah, wah, wah. I'm wrong.
Not quite sure where Hazukitty is heading. Maybe checking Peg Cave and Purple Chest?
That would be my wager. It seems like a solid play if you're uncomfortable with doing that dungeon with Master Sword, for example. Particularly if you know that there's items, if there's dark rooms that we'll be able to get. And looks like Myria's mirrored out and found it there in the rando room. I think traditionally that would have been 11, but remember, she did right side first, so let's add it up. I think that means that would have been 15? Hazu, meanwhile, is taking Gary's lunchbox back to him. We'll see if this happens to contain the lamp. I'm fairly certain that's what Hazu's looking for at this point in time, is that lamp. So 14 is what I think we're looking at.
And just 20 rupees from that purple chest. So I think that just leaves Checkerboard Cave and the Graveyard Cave with locations that Kitty could check for that lamp.
Well, Kitty can't quite check Checkerboard because she doesn't have the mirror yet. And chat did point out an interesting point. Lamp could also be in Swamp Palace.
Swamp, right.
Yeah. Either way, this is definitely kind of a trolley seed if you can't do dark rooms. Myria was able to navigate most of these dark rooms much easier than Hazu was, so that made the difference here.
Myria with a solid fight there.
Absolutely. Solid land mollusk. And on her way up to this second part of the gauntlet. And Hazu really doesn't like these whiz robes because she was using silvers on some of them. Wizrobes, for those of you who don't know, died even to a single slash of the fighter sword. So to use silvers on them is about the most overkill thing you could possibly do in this game. Myria picking up the Book of Mudora while trying to find this last butter sword location, possibly. On to our last Moldorm fight. And will she check the validation chest? Validation chest, given a name as such, because nothing of real value can be here except possibly silvers.
Peace. So Myria starting the Aga 2 fight. This is our first Aga fight we've seen in the seed.
And the nice triple there by Myria. She made quick work of Aghanim there. Bravo, Myria. So Myria moving on to her Ganon fight. Meanwhile, Hazukitty's working through, going to find these items that she needs in Mire. Now, we haven't seen Hazukitty be able to navigate very many of these dark rooms, so I'm venturing to guess as soon as she finds a mirror and the fire rod here, she's going to back out. And I hope she continues on until she finds the mirror, because that's kind of big here. Myria already on to phase 3 of this fight with Ganon.
Making quick work. And with these silvers, this should be done in no time.
And didn't quite get the torch glitch there. So we'll take a little bit longer than usual, but about done here. And there we go. Myria crushing it there.
That was a really great race by Myria. Solid strats all around. Very good dark rooms. And no missteps. I mean, no wasted time.
Absolutely. Myria sitting here with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 52 minutes, 47 seconds. GG Myria. Going in, setting up a tie between her and Sabatender in Group B, but both will move on in the tournament. GG Myria. We'll see if we can get her down here for a chat. Meanwhile, Hazu's now checking this checkerboard cave, trying to find that lamp still. Hazu, meanwhile, thinking about what her next move is going to be. And GG Myria, congratulations on your win and your advancement to the next round of the tournament. How you feeling?
Oh, pretty good. Like, I was so worried that I was going to screw it up just because there wasn't a sword for like the first hour or something.
It was a good 35, 40 minutes before either runner had a sword, I believe.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was so worried that I would mess up on blind, for example, because hammer blind is not that easy, so...
You played great. Your boss fights were fantastic, and those darkroom strats were definitely top level.
Well, thank you. So the Misery Mire was just so weird. How like it had the 2 items that I needed, and yet it wouldn't be fully completable unless one of the items was in there. Because I never found the lantern.
Nope. And that's what Hazu is currently looking for right now. Looks like she's just getting ready to dive into Swamp Palace, actually, looking for it. You had go-moded Swamp Palace, so we're thinking it might be in here anyway, but we still have no idea where that lamp is going to be.
Yeah, Swamp Palace is pretty good. It's like, I had to decide, though, am I willing to do, like, go-mode lampless the rest of the game, or do I want to dig for it? And so I just went go mode swamp because I guess Turtle Rock's not that bad.
Not after you did Misery Mire. That was actually very impressive. We've seen some of the top level players struggle with the Myria dark rooms more
I
than
hate
you ever did.
Myria.
So, no, I mean, well done there.
The second dark room in Eastern Palace. That is so like. I think that's for me harder than. If I don't have bombos, it's harder than the Myria one for me. Because you're just shooting in the dark trying to find the Igor that you need to get the key.
Now, there was one instance where it looked like you avoided doing East Death Mountain. You went up there, checked, got the bow from Spectacle Rock Cave, but then backed out instead of doing the East Death Mountain, even though you had the hook shot. What prompted you to do that? Was it just you had the bow and you wanted to knock out Eastern, or was it something else?
So I guess it could, like, at that point it didn't really matter because as far as I know, it's faster to save and quit out of that particular room because you have to drop down and whatever. But so at that point, there's not really a difference if you have the ocarinas because you can go back to where the save and quit would take you just as easily. So it was just, I don't know, flipping a coin. I went for the dungeon.
Well, I'm absolutely not going to blame you. You ended up making just absolutely amazing time. Is this personal best, or what's your personal best? Are you getting close to it?
137, I think, is my personal best on the open mode. This one, this sea was just too trolly with the late boots, the lack of a sword for first half an hour or so. Like, it was just too trolly to try and PB on, and so.
Do you feel like you ran a pretty solid race, though? I mean, with as trolly as it is, you still got a sub 2 hour, though.
Yeah, I'm glad I got that. Yeah, that was pretty good, because I was worried I'd get above 2 hours just because of how difficult the seed was. It wasn't playing very nice. I mean, the seed wasn't playing nice with me.
We'll be honest here. I think in chat, we were still trying to figure out if a pedestal steed was required, and then we started counting and realized, oh wait, Myria's in go mode.
Yeah, I kind of got to the same thing. I'm like looking at the chart, and I'm like, well, I know where Ice Rod is. If I don't care about the lamp, I'm in go mode. Yeah, that's how it was, and that was, I think, right as I went to Swamp Palace, I realized this, and so I just go moded Swamp Palace. Oh, they're talking about making sprites in the chat. It's nice. I totally want a Hilda one too.
I think a lot of people want a Hilda one. Based on what chat's looking at, anyway.
Yep. I don't think it'd be that hard. The biggest problem is the pallets, of course. Okay, so I just brought up the stream, and so she's going to the left side of Swamp Palace here to look for it.
Yeah, and we're certainly hoping that it's going to be here, because she's checked pretty well every other location. Some of the overworld locations that were left unchecked, for example. Peg Cave, Gary's Lunchbox, things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are very few locations left. Second item in Hera. Now that we've got I don't remember where the fire rod was. That was in Myria, so that's accessible now. But not many other things. Just a couple of mirror locked locations.
Oh, there was Ether.
It was interesting at the start of the race. Hazukitty took a different path than you did after you guys both got the Moon Pearl, and she was found in the progression items left and right. She found Hookshot and Boots and Samaria, and you followed up pretty quickly with those. But it looked like you were trailing a little bit. But man, you made up the ground so quickly with the dark rooms.
Yeah, the lamp in this one's so trolly. Yeah, I was kind of worried. I didn't know that. I didn't think that she could do dark rooms, so I was really worried. Like she gave an expression of kind of like sadness and frustration in the chat room, like in the middle of the race, and I kind of figured it was either no sword or that she couldn't do the dark rooms or something like that.
Yeah, that sword. She actually got her sword first because she navigated the dark room to get up to Death Mountain to be able to go and check the East Death Mountain, which is where she found her sword. Actually, before you got your first sword from Staphos Knights or Armos Knights. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the reason I didn't do that the same thing is because that doing dark rooms like that when you don't have a sword is really annoying. Like you can't just hold out your sword to see a sparkle to see where you are. You gotta like hit your hammer all the time. So I was worried that it would just take a while to go through that dark room to get to the old man because of that. So I avoided Death Mountain for a lot later than I probably should have.
Well, it ultimately didn't make much of a difference because you were always progressing and always moving forward. So, certainly, GG Myria, what are you looking forward to next in this next part of the tournament?
Oh, nice to be back to bracket stages. I haven't made to a bracket stage in a while. Kind of interesting. It's going to be interesting to see people that are like the same level as me, and so I'll actually, have pretty strong competition and against them. Oh, nice. I never thought of that using bombos in here to to kill these grasshopper things in the water. The other people in the tournament, both the normal tournament and the secondary one, are going to be pretty good, and it's going to be hard for me.
Well, there are no easy matches from this point forward, but either way, GG for yourself, Myria, finishing. I think with the tiebreaker, you beat or you lost to Sabatender and he lost to someone else early in the run, right?
Yeah. How many advanced to the next round?
Top 2 in your bracket.
We're the top 2, so there's no tiebreaker necessary.
Yep, you guys both move on. I don't know if you guys have to have a tiebreaker for seeding or not. That's going to be up to the judges.
Okay. Yeah, the tournament rules are a little confusing, so clearing that up.
Yep, not a problem here.
As we see Hazukitty finishing up Swamp. Although chat's pointing out that she missed a chest. I believe it was in the waterfall room. I did not see her open that chest.
No, she didn't get it, but I don't recall anything being in there because I believe Myria did check that one.
Yeah, it wasn't important. I remember that one of the first times I played Randomizer, I thought I got everything, and I didn't. It turned out the waterfall chest was not in the maps that I was using when I was first learning this. Yeah, I didn't even know it was there, and somebody had to tell me because the maps were wrong. What character is she playing as? I forget which one that is.
I have no idea. I was going to ask Scooty if he happened
I
to
didn't
know.
recognize it.
So we're going to stick around here and keep cheering Hazukitty on while she tries desperately to find this lamp somewhere. Myria, you're welcome to join us if you want with Scooty and myself.
Okay.
I believe because she now has mirror, we can do desert, which no one has entered, so I think it might not even be in desert right now. But she's also checking the Tower of Hera basement right now.
Yeah, so we've got 2 in desert, 1 in Hera, the graveyard cave, the cave south of the haunted grove. And that's all I can see that's possible unless we find the mushroom, which I don't believe we ever saw from Myria.
I never got it.
Thank goodness, because I think a mushroom fetch quest into the lamp would just be killer.
Did she check Spike Cave?
Yes, she did. And it was nothing.
piece of heart.
important.
I wonder where she's going. I guess to get the ice rod? I think she knows it's there. Troll fairy there. I'm watching the delayed stream, so my response is probably a little bit old. Lend Hazukitty your power. Nice.
I was wondering if she'd go into Turtle Rock and check those 2 chests on the right, because she, I don't believe, checked those.
Complete Turtle Rock, I think.
She can,
She
but
can, but with the dark room, I don't think she would try.
Oh, that's true. I did check all the chests except for the big, or the classic big key chest, middle, like the middle one. Oh, maybe it's there. That's kind of horrible. No, not Quake. Give me neither. I remember in the old manuals, or not the manual, the strategy guide for this game, it would tell you like the ether trick of foreseeing it. That way you didn't have to like keep looking at the guide. Oh, going for the fairies.
yep, looks like it. And we've seen Hazu do this throughout the match, going to those safety rooms. Now she's just angry.
What the heck? Oh.
So getting your ice rod may indicate that she's going to try to go ahead and dip into... Oh, maybe not. I don't know.
Does she know that there's a place where you can drop down right there? I should tell her about that when I'm done. I just noticed that the tracker does say whether you've checked the magic bat, mad bat, or whichever name you use.
Yeah, this is Alvy's tracker that he uses. I like it a lot because it checks that. There's check marks on the shovel.
What's the 2 next to Bombos?
That is Bombos being required in both Turtle Rock and Misery Mire.
Oh, nice. So unless the lamp is in the that one chest, the classic big key from the original game, not in Turtle Rock. Missouri Mire.
Absolutely. Because everyone knows Missouri is full of misery as well.
True. You're called Misery.
Well, I'm from Kansas, so I'm required to say that.
Has she been to Turtle Rock already? Oh, yeah.
Yes.
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 Check that 1 chest.
Yeah, for someone who's less experienced at this, like when you're first starting out, a seed like this is just awful. She hasn't played all that many randomizers, I don't think. Yeah, the trolley seeds can just be really, really awful.
I think the most difficult seeds for someone who's just starting out at Randomizer are going to be these lampless seeds, where lamp is just one of those items that the people at the top end of the spectrum can do lampless rooms no problem and sequence break with ease. And then their runners, I mean, like Hazukitty looking for the lamp. I look for the lamp like crazy too. I try not to sequence break just because I know I can't keep track of the logic in my head. So these seeds are just kind of the worst when you're still learning.
So yeah, the fact that I didn't have the lamp it affected what I did too. Like, my routing was changed because I didn't want to do certain things without the lamp. For example, going through the old man's cave without a sword or a lamp. Didn't really want to do that. So that it caused me to go just, a different direction from Hazukitty. Also, it does also affect me because you know that the logic will never require you to do it, and so you try to understand what it's trying to get you to do.
And this one just happened to want to require you to double dip just about every dark room dungeon, looks like.
Yeah. I think I made the right choice to try and do the hard stuff.
Oh, for sure.
For a while there, I was worried that I would have to do a fighter sword hold stair, which is one of the worst fights in the game. Try and do it without a viable sword. Thankfully, I found the Master Sword and then the Tempered Sword.
A little worried about Hazu skipping the vanilla big key chest.
Yeah.
We've got a Mimic Cave check coming.
Oh wow, that would be one of the worst places for the tournament game.
Definitely possible, though.
Uh-huh.
Ah, just a piece of heart.
Wow. I hope she remembers the chest in the middle when she's gonna go right by it when she's going up right here in Turtle Rock. Hopefully that'll remind her to go back and get it. Maybe she just remembered right now.
She's going back, and then she's not, and then she's going back, and... And she's going to see that she skipped that chest right now.
Yep.
And going back.
At the end of Turtle Rock, I forgot that I got the key. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, we were wondering what you were looking for.
I wasn't looking for anything. Well, I was looking for the key, I guess. And then I noticed on the status bar, I was like, do I have a key already? Okay. Yeah, killing the Pokies, I guess that a lot of people call them because they resemble the Mario World one. With your sword is kind of an advanced technique, and I'm not even that good at it. Just, especially with half magic, I'm just gonna fire at it. Much easier.
So just a key out there on the island. So let's see where Kitty goes next.
Gonna pick up a safety fairy as she moves on back to where she was. Yeah. Chat pointing out if she used the mirror, she'd pop right back into the other one and won't have to kill these Pokies again.
I had never thought of it that way, Carissa. That this is very much like a Mario themed dungeon. The Pokies,
Pokies, Chame Chomps. I mean, it's Turtle Rock by itself. I mean, with Koopas.
Yeah. And lava, yeah. Question mark block. I guess she switched off the silver arrows as lag reduction. But we know that the lamp can't be in the laser room.
Right, so we might see her mirror out or try to think where else could it be? Where else could it be? I think we said desert?
I guess it's desert.
Yep, there's the Toon Desert, the Graveyard, Ledge Cave, and the cave south of the Haunted Grove.
Green pendant.
I believe that can't be Green Pendant because that was Palace of Darkness.
Oh,
So that's
okay.
going to be lamp locked. I think it's just those 4 places I mentioned.
Did she use the tracker?
I'm not sure.
Oh, Wolfman pointing out it could also be in Tower of Hera in that basement, which would be beyond trolly.
Yeah, I thought she was on the way to Hera, and she passed it to go get the ice rod.
I think she's remembering now how to get back up to Hera. I heard this cave called the Paradox Cave. Why is it called the Paradox Cave?
I believe it's because it has 3 entrances.
Oh, I didn't check Hera Basement CP. By the time I got to the point where I could with the fire rod, I was kind of already in go mode.
Okay, Chad, let's root her on. Let's see this lamp right here in Hera Basement.
Oh no.
Oh, I've never seen that before. That is just horrible luck.
Squirrels are one of the worst enemies in the game. I hate those things. Oh right, yeah, that is true. The topologically, it doesn't make sense for the cave to be that shape in those positions. Yeah, it's as if they just messed up and put the caves in the wrong places.
Absolutely. That's why we've been calling it Paradox Cave.
Oh no, don't die.
Probably an oversight. You swap them, it's all fine. You have a fairy? Does anyone in chat know why she turns into like a letter P when she dies? I don't get that. Keep my cat's like right behind my chair right now. Can't move the chair or run over her, so be careful.
All right, here we go. Hazu's going to be able to check this chest. Bugnet.
Oh my god. Razu.
This is just an amazing trolley seed for Hazukitty.
Based on a few of the things we've seen from her, there's a chance she doesn't know she can get into desert.
Oh yeah. Well, sometimes a game can require that, and it's not something you really think of because nothing ever like that occurs in the original.
See where she's going now. Oh, she's checking south for the ledge cave over here. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't check that. Yeah, be there.
Well, any of the mirror items could be it. She's like, I'm getting the bomb upgrades. Been here doing here long enough.
Books and towers, so
Yep, none of the tablets can have it.
Yep, I think it's just that ledge in graveyard and desert. I think is all she's got left. She can check.
And it does look like she's heading that way for desert now.
Did she check the desert cliff you mirror to?
Yep.
Probably not. Oh, she did?
She checked it when she first came into desert.
There it is. Lamp on the torch ledge.
Wow. Considering where the boots were and how you have to mirror to get to desert, and that's where the mirror was in Misery Mire.
That is one rough lamp right there.
That's a pretty rough lamp. So she's got 4 crystals yet, but she is in go mode, so she can do Eastern, Skull Woods, Misery Mire, and Turtle Rock all pretty reasonably quickly. Chet, I know you're doing it, but follow along. Give Hazu your love, your support here. She needs your energy right now. And if someone can clip that lamp on a lamp, do it. That's silly. So Hazu opting to start with Misery Mire, probably the most difficult of the 4 left. She managed to bypass... Oh, I guess she still has to redo Turtle Rock, which will be a bit of a challenge, but... Filthy Cur asks, what happened to Hazukitty? I don't think anything necessarily happened. She's been running a reasonably good race. The issue was that Hazu is not as comfortable doing dark rooms, so she has been searching for the lamp for the past hour or so.
And she will pick up another sword after completing Eastern. I don't think we ever saw the 4th sword. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Nope,
I never
not yet.
got it. I'm guessing it's part of. I'm guessing it's in Ganon's tower or in the rooms with the. Or sorry, the purple chest and such.
Yeah, there's a few things it could be. It could be either Ether or Bombos. I think one of those was checked. I think Ether was checked, but I don't think anybody went to Bombos. Potentially Secret Passage. Maybe the Big Bomb Fairy. Or even Pedestal. So there's a few places it could be if we don't see it.
Do not believe it was Pedestal, because we got to see what was on Pedestal during the credits.
Pedestal was hard. Oh, that's right. The tempered sword you said was that from the Armos Knights?
That's correct.
Yeah, that'll be Tempest for her. Tempered.
It's definitely gotten better since that 8-hour race.
Absolutely. I think one of the things that we can be proud of about Hazukitty is that she is a relative newcomer to Rando, and even though she lost all 4 seeds, we can see just a staggering amount of progression with every race that she's run. So big shout out to Hazukitty. Just really never giving up, even during those long runs, and always finishing out. That's more than I think a lot of us can say.
during this race she was ahead of me for a bit, right? She ended up with that better routing in the early game.
Well, she went to Catfish first and had the hookshot boots Samaria first, but I don't think she was ever ahead based on crystal count.
Yeah, what I like to say is that she had some advantage. She took some riskier route decisions, and it paid off. Things like going to Catfish, things like I think she checked. I don't know if she checked Agina's cave first or not, but she did Death Mountain first. So there were some interesting decisions that she made that certainly paid off for her.
Oh, she didn't hit the switch. I'd say this is probably the most Trillius lamp location I've seen in Rando so far.
Yep. Lamp on the lamp in desert, requiring boots, that requires you to go dark room hookshot cave. Hookshot was in Catfish. Yeah. And in order to get to desert, you couldn't get books, so you had to get Titan's Mint Flute, which was in Skullwoods, and the Mirror, which was already in Misery Mire, so it required a double dip Misery Mire.
Oh, I hope she switches back to silvers. I hope she notices.
Yep, she's in silvers. Getting hit with a couple lightning strikes here. And there we go. Vitreous is down for Hazukitty. Pretty nice Vitreous kill there. So she's got 4 crystals.
And Skullwoods should be relatively quick, and same with Eastern.
Yep, looks like she's doing Eastern first. She tried to do the Dark Room here earlier, but ended up taking a death, so I think she's out for a little bit of vengeance here between Silvers and her lamp. Varen Hills in chat asks, do most of you all, when you run a Dark Room, use the light off your sword if you have it? I think a lot of people do. If there's a dark room that has a lamp that you can use the fire rod, for example, to light something up, I've been known to use that. But yeah, the sword is kind of the most reliable way to do that. So I wanted to give a shout out to all of you guys in chat as well. Thank you for sticking around with us. We're at 2 hours and 36 minutes here. Hazukitty is going to be doing her 5th and 6th crystals here directly before heading into Ganon's Tower. So thank you all for sticking around with us even after this race is done. You all rock.
thank you all for watching the race.
Except for Glentie. Glentie, you just kind of rock. I'm kidding. Lots of love to you, Glenn. Hazu's getting ready for her Armorous Knight fight. She does have her silvers out, thank goodness. Yeah, if anything, this race has taught all of us, practice your dark rooms, because it could very well make the difference, especially on seeds like this.
Yeah, this easily could have been a 3-hour seed for either runner if we didn't do any dark rooms at all.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, this would have not been fun. And as Carissa points out, this is absolutely the last match in all of group play. We do have some tiebreakers that are still yet to go, but this is it in group play for both the main and the secondary tournaments. Otherwise, this is it.
When I first went to Eastern Palace and I did the, I forgot that I didn't have the lantern, and so I was like, oh great, I got to do the dark rooms. That was just annoying because the dark rooms with the when we have to kill the Igor is just really painful. Realizes now don't have to do Palace of Time.
Yep, going over to Skullwoods, which should be reasonably easy at this point in time with Tempered, Red Mail, Fire Rod, Half Magic. Shouldn't be too bad. So Varen Hills does have a question for you, Myria. How do you practice your Misery Mire and Turtle Rock runs? Your lampless runs for those?
The truth is, actually, I don't. It's more like I do them when I'm racing, like during a race where I have to use them. I actually will bring up the map for that area on the web browser in the middle of the game. You don't see it, but that's what I was doing, is bring up a map so I can see pattern, because I don't memorize the dark maze, for example. And so it's really just been in the races that I've been practicing. They were my practice. All the weekly races, all the random races we would have during the week, all of that is all where I've gotten all the practice in that.
Needed to go back to get this key right here.
Hazu playing it safe here had got close to that particular. Oh no, those wall masters are just trolly as heck.
My favorite part about Wall Masters is that they can grab you when you're falling down a hole.
Yep. In particular, it can grab you when you're falling down to Mothula.
That's just the worst.
Yeah, when you race these, you have to remember to wait for that drop sound before you move into position to drop down the hole, because otherwise you're going to get grabbed. And it takes a good 2 minutes to get back there.
Yep. Hazu, remembering B-strats on Mothula. Hazu with a very nice kill on Mothula, so that's 6.
Just one last trip up to Death Mountain, and we can see her head right into Ganon's Tower after Turtle Rock.
Here we go, our climb. Interesting that she's going this way, but it's kind of the safer route, I think. Just a couple more Light World, Dark World switches. And she already got the ice rod, so she'll just be able to dip right down into it.
This time the squirrels didn't give her as much trouble. I hate those squirrels.
Don't know anyone who doesn't hate these squirrels.
And she's been here before, so she doesn't have to do any of the chests, the first 3 chests, and a couple other chests she's already checked, so pretty much straight to the laser bridge to find a key to get into the boss fight.
I hope she remembers that she has Cape to do that laser room.
Nope. Oh, that's the right way. Right. Struggling a little bit here with these pokies. They hurt.
They're only slightly less bad than a hit from a chain chomp.
Not more than that, they jump around so much they can be a little bit trolly.
That was a pretty painful room. We'll see if Kitty decides to go get some more potions.
I think she was hoping this was a fairy room over here, but no such luck.
I had never remembered what's in that room.
Just more pointless cash.
If you're in Turtle Rock, you probably don't need them.
Probably, but we never know.
There's another Mario enemy, the Fuzzies.
And Hazu just going to be looking for a key to get through this door, but with 1.5 hearts. Okay, she's using cape strats. I would still open up that at the very end for
I'd be
safety.
going straight to the bottom of this room.
Yeah, butter.
And that's where Mushroom was. I probably should have checked that one more chest in that when I mistakenly went there. After finding that key. It's so easy to make a mistake in this laser room that I would really open it. I just think she should have done that before rather than after.
Possibly, but
See if she tries to take a death here. Get a little health refill. Nope.
So at this point, there's several alternatives. She has a bit of magic, so in the big room with the switches and the switch maze, you can use the power.
There's the anti-fairies in there.
problem is the anti-fairy just hit her and sapped the last of her magic. And she's got 1 blue pot left.
Something that she probably doesn't know is that if you mirror from the location that had when you exit through the laser room on the bottom exit, and you mirror, there's a cave right there that has 2 fairies in it. So if you really need safety at this point, you can do that.
And that fairy just trolled her. She collected it instead of putting it in a bottle.
Caught both of those that time, though. And here we go for our Trinex fight.
Trinax, half magic, butter, red mail. This is what you dream about if you're coming to this fight, right?
And she's going to get through this room without any ice because she opted to do that side first. Not the fastest way to do it, but probably a little bit safer of a way.
the firehead always comes out first. So yeah, the faster way is definitely to do the left side first, but then you have to deal with walking around on the horrible ice physics when the ice head spits out some ice.
There we go, 2 slashes, and Trinex is down, so Hazu's officially on her way over to Ganon's tower.
That's mean, Fluffy. You have a 0.1 volt. On that Trinex fight, something that that randomizer will learn is that each of the swords has a different number of times you need to hit Trinex before the heads die. And that way you can switch items before the explosion starts, because you can't switch items when the explosion is occurring, and so there's a lot of little optimizations you can do in that Trinex fight, and a lot of memorization is kind of difficult.
Looks like she's going straight to the left side, which will save her a little bit of time.
And she kills Bob! No! No! You animal!
He's not going to get to see Bob anyway, though.
This is true.
Yeah, little known fact, you can hit the top and the bottom one instead of the left and the right one. Trolled here a little bit by the position.
Getting way trolled, yeah, unfortunately. And now has to kill the skeletons all over again because she entered into the room to reset.
I didn't know that happened. Why are there only two?
Yeah, only half of them showed up.
I wonder if she realizes that if she just goes to that left side there, she doesn't have to reset at all.
Yeah, that one's not really intuitive because that block is like just off screen. Or very close to it.
Just another thing to learn.
This randomizer is so much memorization of tricks that save you time. Also in the room with the 2 fire bars, there's a heart. Yeah, okay, got it. Sorry, I'm not watching the stream that the other 2 guys are, so what I say might be a little delayed.
You don't seem very delayed to me. Yeah, I think you're fine.
You have to be careful when you place that bomb in that room, because otherwise that'll hit both switches. And also the time difference is why I see more runners use like Boomerang or Canis Mario to hit those switches. just use bombs because I learned.
Yeah, we noticed you use bombs here in Ganis Tower a few times, like for the right side room with the conveyor belt. We were wondering if you would switch to Kane.
I probably should. It's a little bit harder to do accurately, I think, or I think it's harder to learn that way, but more consistent because the bombs you have to be really precise on, otherwise it won't make it.
And Hazu begins her climb through the gauntlet.
18 hearts, butter sword, red mail, and cape, half magic. I think this will be a pretty easy Ganon.
We almost saw all the heart pieces in this seed. We know there's one heart container that we both runners saw, right on... Where was it? Bumper Cave. So there's just a couple pieces floating out there that she hasn't picked up.
Nope, she's going to have to go around.
There's a fast way to do this room that the best runners use, and I don't get it. It's kind of hard. All of these rooms have been optimized to death by the past speedrunners in doing the no major glitches route.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I would say, optimization that's been done, but the nice thing about Rando, and I think one of the reasons why it's gotten so popular, is that optimized routes aren't going to win you the game. That's going to be the routing decisions that you make on the fly that you have to, and sometimes even a little bit of luck associated with that.
Myria's here giving her a bit of trouble. So there are a couple ways to get those Koreas to move the way you want to. One of them is if you move when your sword's out, they'll move but you won't, or they'll move but you won't. You can do a similar thing which you saw in my run where you can grab the statue and the same thing happens. Where I move a little tiny bit, whereas the Koreas move a lot. He hits the switch, and that's perfectly fine.
Hazu picking up this safety room with a couple fairies. She already has 2 safety fairies. Well, might pick up a third. Nope, she's just going to fill up.
In that safety room, there's also a full magic refill in the bottom one. Bottom jar. I don't see it that often. But
Looks like we're going to get some medallion strats here going up the gauntlet.
that's probably the safest way. Casting time is a little bit slow, but if they give you trouble, it can be faster. Half magic doesn't really matter at this point, because we'll do it. Would have taken that magic refill though.
Yeah, but oh well.
Yeah. But she does have that green potion. Probably won't get used.
Now, Butter Sword Land Mollis shouldn't be too difficult.
Butter Sword, you need silver arrows kill them in 1 hit. Butter Sword kills them in 2 hits, each of the heads.
Not a terrible fight. Moving on.
Yeah, with that turret, this fight gets even more annoying than the original. Canis and Mario trick to kill the Wizrobes. The second one is the timing is really tight on it, I think. But you saw that I didn't get it right, but it's pretty cool when you pull it off because that room becomes really fast.
Yeah, it can be a little bit difficult. Hazukitty makes it through though.
Say pull it off with the one cycle about 1/3 of the time.
I don't think I've ever pulled off a 1 cycle in that room. But I'm still working on it.
I used to not be able to do it at all. It was hard. In this torch room, you can use the fire rod, but to use the fire rod, you have to keep in mind that you have to be able to cast the fire rod 8 times in a row. Otherwise, you'll have to get the magic refill, taking a couple of extra seconds.
Or just use the 3 lanterns. Or lamps, why not?
I didn't even think of it.
And Hazu's getting her book.
Yeah, if you have half magic, you get 16 shots with or any of the 2 rods. However, she was already down to half. It was, I don't know, about 8 shots.
And I think she's caught.
Fortunately, the boomerang does work in that situation.
Yep. And Trolldorm gonna troll.
It's Trolldorm's job. Call him that for a reason. Kind of sad that in A Link Between Worlds, Trolldorm was made a lot easier. Cape always works though.
All right, so at 3 hours and 6 minutes, Hazu is approaching the last room before Aghanim. The last real troll room of the game.
You have the right idea that you want to go straight up the middle, but it's a little bit hard to set up until you get used to it.
I found it pretty refreshing to see all the magic used in that ascent. Plenty of capes, plenty of medallions. You just don't see that too often.
Absolutely. Nice double there for Hazu. Set up for another double here.
One of the worst parts about the Aghanim 2 fight is the fact that when you get hit with one of the other beams, you can't use your sword to hit the next beam that's coming. So it makes it really annoying.
And Aga 2's down for Hazu. On her way to Ganon.
You gonna get a potion refill, I wonder?
Maybe, but she does have 2 fairies, so I don't know. We'll see what Hazu decides to do. Yep, does look like she's going to go get some health. Double checking her stock, and we'll see. She's gonna go for it.
It's certainly worth trying once to see how it goes, and if you need to, then you go try.
Yep.
She's using spin strats with the butter sword.
Fortunately, using spin on the butter sword has no difference in the damage.
That is unfortunate. I don't think she realizes that.
Also, when you're in phase 2, I think it's you have half magic and a magic refill available to you. You really just ought to use capes. You can just go nuts on
You
Ganon.
throw on the cape and just hack away.
You can use Burna as well, but it will lag the game.
It's a couple more hits in there. Yeah, I think she's trying to go exclusively for spin strats here. I'm not quite sure why. So everyone, one last shout out for our runners here. Myria, who is joining us in chat for the last part of this race, and Hazukitty, who has just improved a ton through this tournament, getting close to setting a personal best for her. If you've enjoyed what you've seen from these runners, give them a follow here on Twitch for Myria and Hazukitty. Also, shout out to our wonderful restreamer Alvi and our wonderful tracker who's still with us, Mr. Drake Tempest. Thank you so much for all the work that you guys do.
couple more hits here, and we'll see the end of Ganon for the end of this tournament here. At least the group stage.
Hazu taking it nice and slow here with these Ganon strats, getting the torch, getting one hit per cycle, seems like. And that does it. GG, Hazukitty.
GG.
With an official SRL time of 3 hours, 12 minutes, and 51 seconds. GG, Hazu. Let's see if we can pull her in here.
That tends to happen, Varen. Like, it tends to say I'm sorry, but it's really trolly seed for whatever reason.
Oh, but I'm sorry, Hazu. Your princess is in another castle. You have to do it all over again. Just kidding. Okay, so Hazukitty does not actually have a microphone. So I will be asking her questions and then typing it through SRL. Hazu, if you are listening in, please feel free to respond. Just waiting until we can figure out where we're going to do. Still trying to get her in, but as everyone is pointing out in chat and in the Discord channel, Hazukitty had a qualifying time when she was doing the qualifiers of around 10 hours. She is now a sub 3 hours and 12 minutes. Now, I think this is the single largest improvement of any runner in the game's history. So really wanted to give a wonderful shout out to Hazukitty. Absolutely amazing done.
And a trolly seed, no less.
In a trolley seed, yeah. This was one of those seeds that I think there would be a lot of people in our community that would be hitting this 3 hour, 12-minute mark. Easy. All right, so Hazukitty is going to be joining us in the Twitch chat channel. Again, she does not have a mic, unfortunately, but she is going to join us to revel in all the love here in the community from Myria and from everyone else here at the Randomizer community. Here we have Hazu. GG Hazu, absolutely fantastic job. I want to ask you a little bit about your journey kind of through this tournament. This was the last run in this tournament, but you went from kind of a long qualifier run to now doing a 3 hour, 12-minute run. How does that feel for you? And she says, it feels good. The way I view it, as long as you never give up anything, never give up anything is possible. Absolutely true, Hazu. I wanted to let you know that there for a while, we actually here, as the commentators, considered you ahead, or at least had the advantage. Some of the plays that you made early, for example, going to Catfish that rarely had anything, you went to East Death Mountain first. You ended up making some plays, like you had your sword first before Myria. The plays that you made were very well done plays, and if you had a little bit more experience, I think you would have been right there with us, especially with as truly as this seed as it was. The only thing that really held you back was that lamp, wasn't it?
I don't think you made a bad choice at all. I think it was just that lamp was so deep. Well, that lamp, you had to do so many steps to get to that lamp, and nobody wants to do Mire without the lamp, and you had to make sure you had the right medallion, and there was the mirror that you needed. It was just gonna be the last item anybody got in this seed, basically.
Yeah, and as chat's pointing out, 5 items in Turtle Rock, it just depends on where the keys were located. Yeah, it didn't end up working out in that way, but and we can argue in retrospect it's what you should have done, but I don't think anyone can argue for making that play. Every one of us in this room has made similar gambles in the past, so still, shout out to you. With everything else, I mean, this was just one of those seeds. I can't do dark rooms at all whatsoever, and this seed would have given me. I think you probably would have beaten me this run, just because I hate dark rooms just as much as anyone else. To answer chat, no.